I may have to cut this short, Hal. Someone just climbed out of my wardrobe.
Can't you see I'm on the phone here?
And from then on, Simone Mueller became the icon she has always been in the Nancy Drew universe. Although her personality can be characterized as solely opportunistic, she is a majorly quoted character. So much so that it got me thinking, who is Simone Mueller? We need more information about her and her life. And I became even more intrigued when I discovered the possible relationship she may have with Zoe Wolf, aka Samantha Quick, and Hal Tanaka, two very different characters. And thus, this episode was born. Confused? Yeah, me too. All the time, actually. Okay, let me explain. Let's begin with Simone. In the game The Final Scene, Nancy is visiting an old rundown theater where Brady Armstrong will be performing one last show before the building goes down in a demolition. Nancy's friend, Mai Nguyen, secures an interview with Armstrong and tells Nancy she's going in to get the inside scoop. Happily, Nancy turns from the scene to explore more of the theater, and suddenly we hear a loud shriek coming from inside the dressing room.
That sounds like
Maya. Our detective fight-or-flight kicks into action. We run into the scene. There's only one door. Only exit is how we just entered, so she should be there. Nope. No Maya. No one. We are... What? This can't be. It's only been seconds. Where could she be? And then...
Hello?
Listen carefully. If they knock the theater down, the girl goes with it.
What? Who is this? Hello? Hello?
Chills down my spine to hear the distorted voice. Kidnapped. We have a kidnapper on our hands. We frantically search around for clues until we find a hidden passage, naturally. A passage that takes us directly through a small tunnel into a wardrobe? Narnia? Did someone say Narnia? No. We pull back the clothes and climb out and...
I may have to cut this short, Hal. Someone just climbed out of my wardrobe.
Welcome to the show Connections, where we sit down and map out all the ways the Nancy Drew games are in one way or more connected. I'll be your host, Carter, and thanks for joining episode 2.
Have you ever gotten green from eating too many Cocoa Kringle bars from Renee's room? Or hit other cars while driving in Canute, Oklahoma? Maybe even burned down the kitchen while cooking for lodge guests? Then you need to call Carson Drew. Carson Drew is a local attorney that has your best interests in mind. There is no amount that he won't fight for. Just listen to this testimonial.
Oh yeah, man. Carson Drew is the absolute best attorney that I could have ever paid a dime for. I mean, he just really presented the information to the court really well. I mean, he really knew his facts. I mean, the guy's extraordinary. And he's such a lovable golf ball. I mean, goofball. I meant to say goofball.
Call today so your case can be represented the right way with Carson Drew, the lovable golf ball.
Okay, so where were we? Yes, the backstory of Simone. In my theorizing brain, I actually believe that Simone has a lengthy history of doing over-the-top stunts and publicity catastrophes to seek the attention she needs for her client, her image, her business, whatever. And this makes sense to me just basing from her personality in the final scene. I mean, she goes to extreme measures, faking the press pass evidence, buying the funeral wreath. Simone goes far. But not so far that it gets her in serious trouble, just trouble enough to pay fines and maybe small court dates with community service or something. But still, I'm sure that law enforcement and other safety services are aware at some of the tactics that Simone has pulled. And that's actually how I feel like Zoe Wolf and Simone Mueller came in touch. Zoe Wolf, and I won't go into too much detail of how I envision her backstory, but I can see Zoe being a troubled teen / young adult who gets a second chance at life by being inducted into a secret organization. Something so secret that it's unknown to the world if it even exists. But by joining, Zoe Wolf will never have to worry about her current situation. She will be rescued from it and will have a new family and be protected forever by the Doppler Institute for Independent Industrial Arts. And so, Zoe enters into a completely new life. But she must first, of course, go through a series of tests and assignments, and she does. She passes with flying colors. She's an amazing spy. The institution decides that it's time for Zoe's first solo mission: to monitor an American woman for possible terrorist plans in Hollywood. Yep. Of course, Zoe is thrilled. She even comes up with her own cover name and cover story. Her name? Sarah Jackson. Her story? An aspiring actress looking for a Hollywood agent to represent her. And what better cover? This gives her an excuse to not only meet Simone, but also learn more about her. So, Zoe flies over the pond to the States, where she takes on a new persona. Simone, at the time, was already browsing around for a potential candidate for a star, and as we mentioned before, Simone most likely has pulled some crazy stunts to garner attention for her agency business. In words that I can totally hear Simone saying, "There's no such thing as bad publicity." And I theorize her name is well known. Simone Mueller has probably been plastered in all the major magazines of all the crazy stunts that she's pulled, and she's probably been on breaking news stories with outlandish things. Like, I can totally see her saying that she got kidnapped and was thrown into a helicopter, and the helicopter's flying over the Hollywood sign, and she's dangling from some rope, and they have to rescue her, and she has a whole emotional speech afterwards, and it was all to get her attention for her new business. I can totally see her doing that. And it could be possible that someone tipped off the institution complete lies about Simone, that she's behind this ring of Hollywood crimes and stunts that controls the tabloid world, and she's just going to do something so big and dangerous it'll never be forgotten. And who knows who sent this anonymous tip? Maybe Simone has an agent who is a rivalry and they gave an anonymous tip to the institution. However it happens, the institution receives some sort of gossip, tabloid, false tip about Simone, and since they're already investigating and sending spies out to take down powerful people that are seeking to create terror among citizens, or that may be organizing groups of criminals, this mission is a go. So here's how I envision the meeting taking place. "Hi, Simone. Oh, I'm so glad to meet you. I'm such a big fan. I've read all about the amazing publicity stunts you've pulled in all the Hollywood magazines. And that's why I would love for you to be my agent and to represent me, because I'm really trying to make it out here in Hollywood. And you're the best of the best in this show business. I know you are. And so I know you can help me." And Simone, of course, is completely melting at the fact that someone is totally doting over her. She's like, "Oh, well, kid, I mean, please slow down. You're making me blush here. I mean, no, really, here's the deal, kid. You got to have a spine, okay? You got to have a spine in Hollywood. That's the only way you'll make it. You can't do this show business unless you can walk the walk and talk the talk." Wait a minute. I'm sorry. I've already forgotten your name, kid. What's your name? You got to have a memorable name. Oh, my name. I'm so sorry. It's Sarah Jackson? What? Sarah Jackson? No. Kid, listen to me. First thing you got to know is that you must have a memorable name. If you don't have a memorable name, you're not going to make it out here in Hollywood. People are going to forget you. What? So, Sarah who? Sarah what? Sarah, they're not going to remember. Sarah Jackson. Okay, all right. Scratch that. We're coming up with something. Okay, quick. Think something, Simone. Think of something. Quick. Oh my gosh, yes, that's it. Sarah, quick. No, Sam, quick. Samantha, quick. That is your new name. I love it. Oh, it's delicious. That's the name that we're going to do. Yes, Samantha Quick. It's wonderful. It's awesome. It's totally going to set you apart from everyone else. You're going to get the part. Let me see the script, kid. What's the script of the part that you're trying to get for? All right. You're playing, okay, a lady, yada, yada, yada. Lady has to wear a red evening gown with white satin gloves. She has to have blonde hair. Kid, you're going to have to dye your hair. This red hair is not going to do. You got to have blonde hair. We got to have that. We're going to dye your hair. But yeah, Samantha Quick in a red evening gown. Yes, that's perfect. Oh, they'll never forget you, kid. You and I, we're going places. We're going to go far. We're going to go really far. And that is how I theorized that Samantha Quick became Zoe Wolf's future alias. And it makes perfect sense to me and answers my questions on why Simone Mueller saw Nancy Drew and suggested Fancy Jackson and Samantha Quick as stage names for Nancy. It's because she saw Nancy's red hair and subconsciously remembered her time with Sarah Jackson. I theorized that Zoe probably ended the case and realized that Simone wasn't a threat to the public. She wasn't planning anything sinister. She actually was just a crazed Hollywood agent that was seeking attention for herself and her clients, and determined that it was safe to end her case and fly back home for her next mission. So she probably cut things off and decided, never mind, Simone, I don't want to do this Hollywood thing. And they ended all ties and relationship, and she formed a brand new identity once she went back to the institution. Simone, however, she was looking for her next client, and she was probably really bummed about how things went with Sarah, so she went to the mall to get a corn dog from the food court, and lo and behold, who was behind the counter of the corn dog place? It was future client Brady Armstrong. Oh yeah, ponytail and all. Here's Simone getting a corn dog. She's telling the kid, oh, he has tons of talent. She can turn it around for him. He'll never have to do corn dogs again. And she totally comes up with Brady Armstrong on the spot. She sees his name tag and it's some type of name, and she's like, no, we got to think of some other kind of name. Let's see, the ponytail's got to go, but you have a nice build, very strong arms. Yes, perfect. Armstrong, yes, people will love it. And then she just goes off from there, and I can totally see her marketing to this guy for her to be hired as his Hollywood agent. So that's kind of how I theorize Simone Mueller works. And you're probably wondering, how in the world does this relate to Hal Tanaka? Well, we're about to get to that right after this short commercial break.
Hi, I'm John Gray, and you're watching a sneak peek of my new show, John Gray's Paranormal Tours. After being on several well-known and top-produced TV shows, I said, away with the directors, away with the producers. I'm making my own show with my own team, and this is a sneak peek of that. We travel to the most remote locations that are supposedly haunted to prove that they actually are indeed haunted. To see future locations where we will be ghost hunting, visit my website, John Gray's Paranormal Tours, and receive a free ghost hunter certification on our website and be just like me and a team. What you see in these photos is not normal, it's the paranormal.
So how is there a connection between Hal Tanaka and Simone Mueller? Well, let's refresh on Hal for a bit. Tanaka is a Japanese exchange student attending Paseo del Mar High School who was one of the unfortunate victims of Jake Rogers' blackmail. In Secrets Can Kill, we learn that Tanaka was caught on film by Jake Rogers plagiarizing one of his papers, and to keep his secret unknown, he must continue doing Rogers' homework. So a few things I base off what little we know is that Tanaka obviously is studious and familiar with books of the library. He's probably had to do a lot of research on a variety of topics in order to achieve the goals he's working towards. One of the possible books he may have read at the high school's library could be Sensation and Public Opinion, which is a book that can be found using the search engine of the library computer. The author of the book? Simone Mueller. Mueller is the very author of a book because who knows how to manage the public's opinion better than her? No one. So you might be asking, okay, yeah, but how does that really connect these two people though? And in comes my theory. I dream up that it's possible that Tanaka didn't learn from this one time of cheating, and that maybe once he did move forward and go to a prestigious school after high school, he got caught up in the same pressures and made another academic mistake. Knowing and reading Simone's book, Hal probably recognized that his best opportunity to escape what news and gossip outlets were reporting and to save his name for future academic endeavors, Hal called upon someone he read could probably help. An agent that could take any negative story and turn it around for a self-positive. Someone so wild and so crazed but had very successful results. And you're probably thinking, Carter, no way. That's so far-fetched. But remember from earlier?
I may have to cut this short, Hal. Someone just climbed out of my wardrobe.
Simone is literally on the phone with a Hal, and I theorized that Hal is Hal Tanaka, maybe calling to seek her advice, and Simone realizing the potential money she could make off helping spin this story for the better of Hal's image. Okay, maybe you're not fully convinced, but here's some more compelling information to plead my case. Flash forward to Shadow at the water's edge. Ooh, spooky. And after all the creepy things we've witnessed, the last thing I want to do is explore the Ryokan at night. However, that's exactly what I must do if I'm going to learn anything about the past guests that have stayed here and clues as to what's going on. And so, nighttime exploring is what I must do. And there I stand, taming Suki and cracking the lobby's computer password. Instant sleuth mode has activated and I'm exploring to see what past guests have recently stayed here. Excuse me? What do I see? I see that a Mueller, a Thompson, and a Tanaka are staying at the Ryokan. Interesting. But what does this mean? More theories. So the way I see it is that Tanaka, seeing that he was a Japanese exchange student, is probably taking a holiday to visit his family in Japan. Simone is probably with Brady Armstrong, or should I say Brady Thompson, because don't forget, Armstrong is just his stage name that Simone made up, and Thompson is his real one. And they're strengthening his global fan base by doing worldwide premieres of his latest movies. Mueller probably just makes reservations for Brady under the name Thompson to avoid anyone recognizing his celebrity status. And this all makes so much sense to me as to why they may all be there, but at the same time, why? It's possible that Hal and Simone formed a strong bond and friendship over Hal's publicity incident, and now being close, the Tanaka family feels indebted to Simone for all the hard work she did to save Hal's image. And from time to time, the Tanaka family and Simone often spend time together, them praising her for her results and even gifting her items that she would appreciate. I mean, doesn't that just sound like something Simone would be all over? Regardless, we are seeing two characters that I never would have imagined intertwined together in multiple small connections that really just solidifies the continuity of the Nancy Drew universe. We'll be looking at one more small thing after another short commercial break.
Well, hey everybody, come on down to Ma and Pa's General Store. Soon as you walk in, we'll treat you like family. We've got all the finest Wickford candles and a neat little museum with a few Jada scales. To make things even more fun, we don't just list the price of our items plain as day. We make you work for it. Use your wits and see if you can find the best deal. But just know this, at Ma and Pa's, you always getting the best deal. And maybe even a couple paw pennies too. Thanks for stopping by.
All right, everyone, it's just about time to wrap this episode up, but before we do, I have just one more thing to note. In the first episode of Connections, I ended with a trailer that talked about the Ryokan being a possible place where past suspects met up and conversed, plotted against Nancy. I also mentioned that maybe PG Krollmeister could be the mastermind of it all. However, after thorough research, I couldn't find enough evidence to back those claims. It just didn't work no matter how much I theorized or wanted it to. So my basis was very loose and actually came from the idea that when Nancy is exploring past guests that have stayed at the Ryokan, there's actually a lot. Possibly Maya Nguyen, John Gray, Sonny June, Chief McGinnis, Brenda Carlton, Deirdre Shannon, etc., etc. Plus, not all of those mentioned are enemies. Actually, most aren't. So instead, we must conclude that, although kind of crazy how many characters show up in one place in the Nancy Drew universe, each character has their own unique purpose. Like the commercial from earlier, John Gray visited the Ryokan to search out paranormal activity, and this is confirmed in the microsite that Her Interactive created during the making of Shadow at Water's Edge. It's literally confirmed. That is why his name is in the computer. Other possible reasons of characters being there is Maya Nguyen. Maybe she's reporting on the hauntings since she loves journalism. And Sunny June, well, he's just everywhere. And everyone else, well, we have to leave that up to our imagination. And that is what I absolutely love about theorizing. It's all about the imagination and the possible routes these connections can take us. And it really sparks an entirely new conversation about these games, the character in their lives, the plot, and all because there may be a connection. Alrighty, sleuths, gear up because episode 3 is a wild one. We're taking a deep dive into several completely different connections from each other rather than just one big one. This episode will be packed full of questions I have and connections that are worth sharing. Does Sunny June make an appearance before Secret of the Scarlet Hand? Does Waverly bring together more characters than we know? And what's up with Dread Isle and why is everyone showing up there? Join me in episode 3 of Connections.